This isn't going to end well for you, Blake. Sorry.
Parties, of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
In a world where sometimes people judge you before they give you a chance.
In Hollywood, even the most dazzling careers can collapse in the blink of an eye. And that's exactly what seems to be happening right now for Blake Lively, a star revered for her iconic roles, perfect red carpet appearances, and seemingly fairy tale lifestyle. In a shocking twist, she suffered a crushing defeat in court against fellow actor and producer Justin Baldoni. For months, they've been embroiled in bitter lawsuits. Her massive $250 million claim against him, his staggering $400 million countersuit against her. And now, everything has been turned upside down by a single hearing. Today, we're diving deep into the drama to unpack exactly what happened inside that courtroom.
That we found out that Blake Lively's team, according to her attorney, is actually planning to file an amended complaint in their lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and others. According to her attorney, Michael Gottlieb, that is going to include new claims from Blake Lively, and they're going to be bringing this lawsuit against new defendants.
Why Blake's legal team might be in full-blown panic mode, and how this could mark the beginning of the end for one of Hollywood's most admired power couples. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear is more explosive than any scripted TV courtroom scene. Not long ago, the idea that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni could go head-to-head in such a hostile legal showdown was almost unthinkable. Blake was known for her elegant public persona, her close bond with fans, and her rock-solid marriage to Ryan Reynolds. Justin Baldoni, meanwhile, had cultivated a reputation as a kind-hearted, forward-thinking creative, recognized for his philanthropic endeavors and uplifting media projects. Yet it all started with a bombshell when Blake alleged serious misconduct by Justin, claims so inflammatory they couldn't help but draw immediate scrutiny. She filed a lawsuit demanding a jaw-dropping $250 million in damages, sparking a media firestorm that consumed tabloids, social networks, and entertainment news outlets everywhere. Anyone could see this was no petty disagreement. It was a scorched earth attempt at holding Justin accountable for offenses Blake insisted were real. Let's face it, even for established stars, $250 million and $400 million are astronomical figures. But in modern Hollywood, reputations translate directly into brand deals, film opportunities, and future earnings. One blockbuster role, or the loss of it, can mean tens of millions of dollars gained or forfeited. When you factor in endorsements, production company revenues, and potential residuals, the scale balloons quickly, especially when defamation or extortion claims enter the picture. Initially, it looked like Blake had the upper hand. She was the first to go on record, and her supporters, passionate and loud, were convinced that a woman of her standing wouldn't risk the potential fallout unless she had unshakable evidence. Justin, by contrast, was blindsided, scrambling to manage the press and dealing with outlets quick to amplify Blake's point of view. But then his countersuit arrived, flipping the narrative. Suddenly, fans were torn between sympathy for Blake and the possibility that Justin might be the victim of an unjust smear campaign. Everyone wondered which side was telling the truth and how far would each go to prove it. Now, we've fast-forwarded to the hearing that shook Tinseltown, a tense 90-minute session where the stakes were sky-high and neither side showed any intention of backing down. Analysts were calling it the first real battleground in a war that could stretch on for years. The atmosphere was electric from the moment the judge entered. Blake Lively arrived looking visibly tense, shielded by her legal team. Justin Baldoni, accompanied by his formidable lawyer Brian Fredman, exuded quiet confidence. Onlookers said it felt like stepping into a pressure cooker. Any slight comment could ignite an explosion. Right away, Blake's lawyers tried to rein in Fredman. They applied for a gag order, claiming his public comments and media appearances were tainting the potential jury pool and making it impossible for their side to get a fair shot. But the judge quickly denied that request, citing the simple fact that Blake's own team had been extremely vocal in media interviews. This was the first red flag for Blake's defense. If they couldn't silence Justin's camp, they'd have to face public scrutiny head-on. It was a blow they didn't see coming, and they'd soon discover it was only the beginning. With the gag order off the table, Friedman wasted no time pressing his advantage. He presented an outline of evidence that included text messages, recorded calls, and even receipts pointing to alleged manipulations in Blake's original suit. While no smoking gun was publicly aired during this preliminary hearing, onlookers hinted that Friedman's revelations were enough to rattle Blake's entire team. One by one, the judge dismantled the efforts Blake's side made to stifle Justin's allegations or remove Friedman from direct questioning. The final nail in the coffin for that day? The judge ruled that Blake did not get to pick who would question her during her deposition. She'd have to face Friedman himself, the very man her attorneys had called aggressive and unpredictable. By the time the hearing adjourned, it was unequivocal. Blake had lost this round. And it wasn't just a small procedural snag, it was a devastating blow to her entire legal strategy. The courtroom might have emptied, but the real storm was only just beginning. Within minutes of the hearing's end, social media exploded. Team Blake and Team Justin hashtags battled for trending status, with fans on both sides dissecting every shred of news. Yet a noticeable shift was taking place. Many users, once firmly in Blake's corner, started expressing doubts. Let's be clear, Blake Lively has long enjoyed near impenetrable goodwill. From her breakthrough performances to her carefully curated image as a relatable celebrity, she rarely faced widespread skepticism. But now, in the wake of this legal defeat, cracks were showing in that pristine facade. People began to ask, if she's so sure of her claims, why is she working so hard to avoid direct questioning under oath? Bloggers, YouTubers, and entertainment columnists seized on this point, hypothesizing that Blake might be hiding something or fearing that her case would unravel under intense cross-examination. Rumors ran wild. Did she lack the evidence she initially claimed to have? Was she coerced into filing the suit by some undisclosed party? Or were there personal grudges fueling her accusations? Conversely, Justin Baldoni started to look like the underdog who refused to be bullied by sensational headlines. Many fans rallied around his measured, consistent approach, especially after hearing the judge repeatedly rule in his favor. While Justin had historically been more private, the public website he launched displaying selected evidence garnered massive traffic and triggered discussions about what might be revealed next. He was also quick to remind people that if Blake could contact major publications and speak freely, he deserved the same freedom to share his side. This argument resonated deeply in an era where fair representation in the media matters. More and more individuals started seeing him as the party upholding transparency. You can't talk about Blake's downfall without mentioning Ryan Reynolds. The two are famously considered a Hollywood power couple. Their combined star power and net worth rival some of the biggest names in showbiz. Yet under this new wave of courtroom losses, Ryan finds himself in a precarious position. If Justin ultimately wins, Blake and Ryan could face a $400 million judgment. That's a sum that could eclipse their combined fortunes, effectively draining everything they've built. Industry whispers say Ryan is frantic behind the scenes, allegedly urging Blake to seek a settlement or at least scale back the ferocity of the legal war. But so far, no sign indicates that Blake intends to back down. Beyond money, Ryan's squeaky clean public persona also hangs in the balance. Known for his comedic flair, philanthropic ventures, and brand endorsements, he risks being dragged through the mud if the scandal taints him by association. Already, rumor has it certain brand partners might be reconsidering deals with the couple if the negative headlines continue. Nobody outside their inner circle can say for sure what goes on behind closed doors, but speculation has soared that the stress of these lawsuits is placing a huge strain on their marriage. The possibility of losing a massive chunk of wealth, along with public respect, would cause intense stress in any relationship, let alone one constantly under the paparazzi's magnifying glass. While Blake scrambles to protect her image, Justin is boldly going on the offensive. The website he launched promises a full account of events, complete with legal documents, chronological breakdowns, and even rumored screenshots of messages. According to his lawyer, every release of new materials is designed to counter misinformation and illustrate how his countersuit is grounded in fact. So far, her legal team has tried to paint Justin's tactic as manipulative, arguing it's a ploy to pollute potential jury pools. But ironically, they were the first to break the story to the press. Their outcry may come across to some observers as hypocritical, further solidifying Justin's position that he's simply leveling the playing field. With the possibility of a settlement looking slim, the next big milestone is depositions. Under oath, the illusions and media spin vanish. Both parties will have to answer pointed questions, with lawyers aggressively probing for inconsistencies or hidden motivations. He's not off the hook either. Blake's lawyers will undoubtedly come armed with their own tough questions, seeking any misstep that could bolster her claim of wrongdoing. However, the momentum from the recent hearing has shifted public expectation. More observers now believe Justin is prepared to face the music, whereas Blake appears increasingly eager to avoid it. Unless a settlement or dismissal happens, everything is gearing up for a massive trial slated for March 2026. By merging both lawsuits, Blake's $250 million suit and Justin's $400 million countersuit, into a single case, the judge ensured that every explosive allegation will be litigated under one roof. A trial of this magnitude could rival the biggest Hollywood court spectacles of the last decade. Some insiders even suggest that streaming networks might vie for rights to create a docu-series about the case, given its potential for drama and star-studded intrigue. Paparazzi will line up before dawn. Bloggers and mainstream media alike will dissect every witness's body language. With tensions soaring, one might expect that cooler heads would push for an out-of-court settlement. After all, neither star benefits from letting their dirty laundry air for months, possibly years on end. But so far, pride, principle, or both seem to be blocking any attempt at reconciliation. Nonetheless, some whisper that behind closed doors, lawyers for both sides have tried to float the idea, especially on Ryan Reynolds' end. But these efforts seem overshadowed by the personal animosity that has grown to enormous proportions. At this juncture, the question on everyone's mind is, can Blake Lively bounce back? While her name still carries weight, the narrative is running away from her, driven by a wave of negative headlines and a swiftly eroding foundation. But with the public now acutely aware of the lawsuit's twists, her every word will be scrutinized for hidden meaning or contradiction. On the flip side, Justin Baldoni is no stranger to using mainstream platforms to discuss serious issues. As he continues collecting evidence and winning these preliminary legal skirmishes, his strategy is clear: remain transparent, appear cooperative, and emphasize moral high ground. Friends close to Blake hint that she's feeling the pressure more than ever. Between juggling motherhood, public appearances, and the unrelenting pace of legal chaos, she's described as exhausted and cornered. Yet, her stubborn streak might be exactly what keeps her fighting. This standoff between unwavering conviction and mounting legal defeats is creating a meltdown that not only endangers her finances, but threatens to overshadow her legacy in Hollywood. The day's hearing has many believing that, yes, she could. Losing a case of this scale wouldn't just result in a massive financial payout. It would be a PR tsunami that could wipe out her marketability for years. For an actor, being labeled as someone who attempted to manipulate or falsify serious allegations can be career-ending. Rarely do watchers talk about the personal torment. For Blake, accustomed to adoring fans and positive press, this might be shattering her sense of self. Public humiliation has driven some stars to retreat from the spotlight permanently. If the situation worsens, we can't rule out an extended hiatus or a complete rebranding of her identity. With March 2026 looming, each side is bracing for the next phase. Legal bills continue to pile up at staggering rates, and the public, though endlessly fascinated, grows weary of half-truths and rumor-based updates. People crave definitive answers. Scandals that drag on too long often risk turning off even the most eager audiences. In an era where new controversies flood the internet daily, both sides risk losing the upper hand if they can't keep the public engaged. That said, the monumental sums involved practically guarantee unwavering interest from mainstream media. If a settlement were to happen tomorrow, it might involve undisclosed sums of money, strict non-disclosure agreements, and potential public apologies. But both parties have shown themselves willing to brawl in public. For fans hoping for a swift resolution, each passing day makes it clearer that neither side is backing off lightly. Until a settlement is officially announced, though, the looming trial date stands like an ominous countdown to what could be the biggest Hollywood courtroom spectacle in decades. What we do know is this: no matter which path Blake chooses, the immediate fallout from this courtroom defeat looks dire. The once untouchable actress stands on precarious ground as Justin Baldoni's relentless approach and the judge's rulings keep swinging momentum to his side. If the pattern continues, Blake may have to make the toughest decision of her life: keep fighting and risk further humiliation, or fold now and salvage what she can. This showdown isn't just about money, it's about trust, influence, and personal integrity. With each gavel strike and every new piece of exclusive evidence, the stakes shoot higher, and in an industry that worships success stories while eagerly devouring downfall sagas, the pressure is truly on. Will Blake Lively find a way to flip the script and prove her allegations are legitimate? Or is Justin Baldoni on track to claim a public and possibly career-defining victory, sending Blake into a tailspin that no star status can protect against? As the story continues to unfold, there's always more to discover. Thanks for tapping in now. Like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when more secrets come to light.